Progressive Agricultural Safety Day, which will be going on June 8th out at the UK Research and Education Center here in Princeton. Good morning, Cindy.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, and thanks for having me today.
It's wonderful to have you in the studio with us this morning. And, boy, you've been involved in this for several years now, haven't you?
I've actually been with it about 6 years, and the event has been going on for over 20 years in Caldwell County.
Okay. I'm going to move this mic here just for a second. All righty. Well, let's talk a little bit about Progressive Agriculture Safety Day and the history and how it came about. Let's start that way.
The history of Progressive Agriculture Safety Day is really touching.
Yes.
It's a touching story. There was an article run in the Progressive Farmer magazine in September of 1990 that started this whole event, and I can kind of summarize that for you. The article related a heart-wrenching true-life story that involved a man named K.T. Reynolds and his 3 children. Reynolds had borrowed a tractor and a rotary mower from a neighbor, and he was going to use it to trim up the weeds and grass along the lane that was leading from his house to the road. Before he started, his 3 kids, and they were ages 5, 8, and 9, of course, you know how kids are, Ty. They begged him for a ride.
I want to ride that tractor.
He told them no, which is what he should have done. And then he alternated his jobs that day. He'd mow for a while, and then he'd do some other chores. And then he decided he needed to finish his mowing job. The kids, again, started begging to ride the tractor. Reynolds was tired. He wanted to get finished, and he gave in. He let the children ride. Ashley, who was 5 years old, rode on his lap. His son, Bo, was 8. Mandy was 9. And those 2 sat on the fenders of the tractor. The fender that 8-year-old Bo sat on broke, and it sent him under the tractor. The large wheel of the tractor actually ran over him, as did the mower. Reynolds was so, of course, just devastated.
Of course.
And he ran to the house, and when he went to the house, he said his intention was to get his gun, and he was going to shoot himself for what he had done. And when he couldn't find the gun, he went outside, and by now neighbors had already started to come, and he begged those who had gathered to shoot him.
My goodness.
As reported by Reynolds, the loss of a child is about the worst thing that can ever happen to a person. Well, that month, September of 1990, the magazine profiled nearly 100 farm fatalities, many of them children. And in case after case, the article showed that these tragedies could have been prevented if just simple basic safety precautions had been taken. Because of this, during the months that followed, Progressive Farmer received more letters and calls on this story than any other in its history. There were hundreds who sent in their own heartbreaking stories of how their loved ones had been needlessly injured or killed through unsafe farming practices. So to address this issue, the magazine began devoting space in every issue to farm safety topics. But the statistics continued to climb. So in 1995, Progressive Farmer took a direct hands-on approach. They patterned this after the safety days camps that had been conducted for decades by organizations like Extension and Farm Bureau. In that summer, the magazine sponsored 19 safety day camps across the South and the Midwest. By the season's end, more than 200 other communities had requested that same program for their areas, and the Progressive Farmer Safety Day Camp program was born. And quoting the magazine's editor, "If we save one life, one limb, this program is worth all of our efforts."
Definitely.
Each year, the number of camps continued to increase, and to raise the funds needed to support all of these camps, the nonprofit charitable Progressive Farmer Foundation was created to accept donations. Agricultural companies were invited to contribute to the Progressive Farmer Foundation and to be recognized as camp sponsors. With the support of an increasing number of sponsors, the program grew. By 2002, the program had grown so much that it became a standalone program. And in January of 2002, ownership and governance of the program was shifted from Progressive Farmer Foundation to its successor, the Progressive Agriculture Foundation, which it still remains today.
Okay.
In 2006, the name of the program was officially changed to the Progressive Agriculture Safety Day program.
Okay. What a what a heartfelt, sort of history there. A tragedy sparks it, but of course, farming lends itself, because of the type of work that it is, to situations. But you're right. He was tired. He gave in. But if maybe just a slight little something, would have triggered to maybe just to not do it that way, it could have. But boy, what a story!
It's just like riding a lawnmower. How many times do you drive by a yard and see
Sure.
a parent riding with a child on their lap?
See it all the time. Yeah.
We see it a lot.
Tell us about some of the topics that these kids are gonna learn about out there, since we're talking about the safety aspect of all this, and potentially you cover a broad variety of safety issues that not only on a farm but even at your house.
Right. I try to emphasize, we call this Progressive Agriculture Safety Day, but it's really not just for farm kids.
Right.
We target farm kids because we are interested in saving farm accidents,
Sure.
keeping those from happening. But children of any background can benefit from this event. We have 10 stations that will be set up. One of them, and we try not to do exactly the same stations every year, but the nature of the program lends itself to
Sure.
repeating some of these. One of those stations this year is going to be lawnmower and tractor safety. We combine those, and Jeremy McCuston with the Adult Ag program will be teaching that one. We have chemical safety. Jennifer Whittington from Lafarge does a wonderful job with this station, and she does such a good job with all the hands-on activities.
Yes, ma'am.
Ashley White from Extension will be conducting a food safety station. Penny Ryle Electric and Allie Cotton will be doing electricity. We have Tony Knoll with ATV and bicycle, and Tony's been doing this for years, and he does a terrific job.
Yeah, that's a biggie out there, isn't it?
It sure is. Fire safety, Mark Bowes will be bringing I call it the smokehouse, the firehouse out for the children to tour. We have firearm safety, and normally we have Kentucky State Police doing this for us, but they will actually be at Trooper Island during the week of farm safety this year. And Sam Adams from the Lyon County Sheriff's Department will be conducting this station.
Well, good.
Trooper Jody Cash is sending Adam Jones with the rollover vehicle from Kentucky State Police. And Jason Outland is going to be helping us with grain safety. And Jason works with Hopkinsville Elevator. One of the things that I'm so proud of, Ty, is that our presenters are so well qualified to conduct the stations that they are conducting. So we're very pleased to have these people.
I know my kids both participated when they were in school doing this, and they come home with a goodie bag, but not only they come home with great information. They talk about it. They discuss what they've learned, and so I know from experience from my children, and I'm sure there are other parents out there that their kids have gone through the program, and can tell you how excited the kids are and what they learn there, because they come home and they're excited to tell you. It's a hands-on learning experience. And I think that's what makes it very, very beneficial as well.
We do strive to make it hands-on because we think the children will remember so much more if they actually touch it and do it.
And I think they do.
And you're right. We do send home a goodie bag, and inside of that goodie bag, in addition to things that have been donated to us from sponsors, we have a folder that is just packed.
Full of information.
Full of safety information for the children and the parents.
Oh, I can tell you. You sit down with this packet, and there's stuff that you look through, literature in there, and you're like, oh, I didn't know that, or wow, And it's just I can't stress enough the value of a child that is eligible to participate in this program, because you never know when they will be in that situation, a situation, and it'll click. I better not do that, or
right.
Because kids are just
does.
going to be kids, but just very, 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 very valuable information. What else do you have as far as what some of the activities or anything that goes along with the day?
Well, of course, I might mention that registration is now underway for this event, and we do try to target children in grades kindergarten through 5th grade.
Correct.
We try to target Caldwell and Lyon County children, but we will accept children from surrounding counties if they would like to come. We have forms available at the Caldwell County Conservation District office and at the Lyon County Conservation District office. We sent forms home with all kindergarten through 5th grade children in both Caldwell and Lyon County schools. The fee is only $5, and that registration fee covers the goodie bag. It covers a morning snack when they first arrive, lunch, an afternoon snack. They get a free T-shirt, and probably my most prized gift to them is a free bicycle helmet at the end of the day.
Yeah, everybody gets a bicycle helmet, don't they?
They do.
Tell us about that. You have different entities that donate those helmets. How does that work?
Well, we are blessed in this community with people who are very sharing and giving, and a lot of our businesses donate money, and we take that money and we purchase these helmets. We do.
That's awesome. And if I'm not mistaken, if a child registers by that June 1st deadline, you all give away a boy and a girl's bike.
We do, and we actually have matching helmets to go with those bicycles.
Man.
So they're pretty sharp bikes.
You know, I grew up in the era when you just jumped on your bike and just took off.
I did too.
And the helmet is so important because I had a good friend. As a matter of fact, I rode bikes a lot. Anybody that just knew me growing up, I rode BMX bikes and was somewhat of a daredevil. But I had, got a concussion. Fell off his bike. Did not have a helmet on. Those helmets, while they're not totally foolproof, but they sure can prevent a lot of maybe head injuries if you're riding your bike and have that helmet on.
You're right. And when we're talking about the bicycles, I can't help but think about all the motorcycle riders we see on the road without a helmet. And we ride motorcycles, but we don't get on one without a helmet.
No, I wouldn't either. And that's just one of those safety things. Well, another really unique thing about this event, I think, you said this is the 6th year you've been involved, but it seems like that you do try to change up some of the safety topics, but those that have participated and do the stations for you, they want to come back every year.
They do.
Yeah, and that is a really cool thing about this event, I think, as well.
It is, and I'm so pleased. Several of our presenters, as soon as I call them, they're just so willing to take part in it, and it's quite a gift to us because they're giving up a full day of work to come out and volunteer for this event. I might also mention, Ty, that we have usually in the neighborhood of 75 volunteers who help with this.
75 volunteers, that is wonderful. And then about how many kids do you feel like on average for each safety day?
We probably average close to 100. We are approved for up to 150 children.
Okay.
And my understanding is that about 22 or so years ago when this event started, there would be 150 signed up and a waiting list.
Wow.
I think, of course, you think back 20 years ago, there were more farm kids back then than we have now. So our numbers, now I kind of strive for 100 kids, but we'll take up to 150.
And I think you have pretty much been right around that each and every year.
We have, yes. We stay pretty close to that.
What can anybody do that wants to get involved or help you with this event at this point? I know you've got your stations and everything lined up, but what is the most important thing that we can tell folks, right now of what we need done moving forward? We
are doing real well with our volunteer sign-up. We are always open to, if anyone would like to volunteer, they can contact us at the Conservation District office and just ask for me. That's
365-5533?
That is right? Correct, and Extension 3.
Extension 3, that is you. Because during the day, there's, if you have 100 kids out there, they might need to, you have different stations. They might get, may need direction to a certain station, or, they might need a snack. Somebody might just need something. So it takes a few people to direct, I'm sure.
We do. We have plenty of jobs.
Yeah, okay. So that's wonderful. Okay, so here's your chance. If you want to be involved and help Cindy and the Conservation District at Progressive Agriculture Safety Day, you are wanted, and they would be glad to take you as a volunteer.
And if you know of children or if you have grandchildren that you'd like to see participate in this event, please send them our way.
Get them signed up.
That's right.
And they can. The June 1st is the $5 deadline. After that, it goes to $10. Correct?
It does.
Okay.
Yes, we will even accept them the day of the event, but it makes it much more difficult for us to prepare adequately if we wait that late. So we do appreciate people signing up in advance.
Tell us about times out there that day and how it looks like. Is there is everybody pre-registered if they do that, or if they wanted to show up? Is there a booth where kids have to sign in, that kind of thing?
Everybody signs in that day, even if they were pre-registered. We'd still have a sign-in sheet where we make sure we know who's going to pick the child up at the end of the day, and we direct them to the correct group for the day. We divide them up 9 or 10 groups, and they will rotate through these stations about 15 minutes at each station.
Okay.
Lunchtime, we divide them into 2 groups. While half are eating lunch, the other half has time for recreational games.
Great.
So we have some fun during the middle of the day as well. But that pretty well, I think we pretty well summed the day. You're right. The June 1 deadline helps us out tremendously. Plus, it's a $5 until then.
Right.
And $10 afterwards. So early sign-up is encouraged.
Good deal. Well, thank you so much for your efforts. I know you work extremely hard, because pretty much as soon as this one is over, you're starting on the next one, aren't you?
You're right.
Yeah.
This one is June the 8th, and we have to sign up for the next one no later than July the 15th. So we finish in June and start all over again in July. Well,
appreciate your efforts. We appreciate the Conservation District and their involvement in doing everything here in this county. A lot of folks, I had the pleasure of attending one of your banquets, and boy, it was a learning experience and wonderful to see some of the stewardship going on in this county with the Conservation District. Your education efforts about soil stewardship and the use of land and just what you all do. So thank you for this. We appreciate your efforts and what the Conservation District Office does here in the county.
Well, thank you, and I'd like to extend you a personal invitation to join us at Farm Safety Day if you can.
I definitely plan on being there. I'll help, and no telling how the tiger might be involved, but thank you.
Okay, I thank you. May I close with one thing that I found that...
Yes, ma'am. You go ahead.
I found an article. It comes from Prairie Farmer, and this article was published last summer. And it says 6 reasons to make farm kids safe savvy. And these are actual headlines from across the country that tell of deadly farm stories that no one wants to hear. Here are the 6 deadlines. 11-year-old crushed by a 1,100-pound bale. A 1-year-old struck by a skid loader. A 3-year-old run over by a tractor. A 15-year-old drowned when the skid loader fell into a manure pit. Toppled forklift crushes a 2-year-old. And the latest in the early July from Georgetown, Massachusetts, family devastated after a cow tramples an 8-year-old. In this article pointed out, now this was accurate as of summer of last year, that every 3 days a child dies in an ag-related incident in the United States. And each day, 33 children are injured. We think in these days when we are so safety conscious that these accidents would not happen, but they continue.
They continue to do. A farm or a rural setting is a very, very busy place. There's lots of things. There's machinery. There's livestock. It's just a different. If you don't. Even if you don't live on a farm, but it could be as simple as climbing a step ladder in your house.
You're right.
So you just have to use caution and be careful, and that's what's so wonderful about this event, because these kids are educated on the possibilities that things can happen. So it's in their mindset then to think about that as they move forward. So again, we thank you so much for your efforts, and we hope you have a great day and a very successful Progressive Agriculture Safety Day, and look forward to covering it and being out there, being a part of it.
Thank you so much for helping us out.
Have a great day, Cindy.
You too.
Thank you. All right, that is Cindy Dunn. She is the Education Coordinator out at the Conservation District Office. Again, 365-5533, extension 3. That is the number to call if you're interested in Progressive Agriculture Safety Day. It's a June 1st deadline to sign up. They will take a late sign up after that date. It's $5 up until June 1st, and they are taking kids ages kindergarten through the 5th grade and from surrounding counties. So sign up for that. It's a wonderful event, and just attend Progressive Agriculture Safety Day. That's going to do it for me, Ty Englebright. Thanks for Cindy Dunn and all our guests being in the studios today. It's 10 minutes in front of 8 o'clock, currently 72 in Princeton.